I'm Daniel Abrego. I'm the WaFd Community Development Officer for the Pacific Northwest, so Washington, Oregon, and Idaho. And it's just kind of a fancy way or a long title for just saying a connector, the liaison or extension of the branches. I'm kind of the lucky one that goes out and makes the connections with the organizations, agencies, community members, and find out what the goals are, what obstacles are in the way, and see how WaFd can fit in. So thank you for that. And then yeah, I want to say if anybody else from WaFd wants to chime in, please on do. I don't mind.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dan Gelhay. I'm the branch manager of our Bellevue West branch, and I'm fairly new to WaFd. Actually, I've been around since August, so just kind of feeling my way around and seeing what sort of help and support we can provide to the local communities here all over Puget Sound. So thanks for having us.
Hi, I am Megara, and I'm kind of in the Bellevue area. And I work kind of, my official title is Select Relationship Manager, but I do a lot of also community development, financial literacy classes. So if you're needing help with that, or especially if you're down further south, or if I can help up in Snohomish, you are so welcome to let me know.
Can go next one. Hi everyone. My name is Nahal Sharifi. I'm a branch manager for the one of the other location in Bellevue, kind of overlake in Crossroad, but my branch is in Belred Road. And my goal is to reach out to the small and mid-sized business owners and help them with the cash flow, daily business banking, and those stuff, fun stuff. And yeah, I would be happy to help any of you needs my help. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that. Yeah, I think that's everyone I saw from WaFd. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get into it. Yeah, preparing for this session, I looked a lot on WaFd's website to see the kind of work that WaFd does throughout the community. And I just kind of wanted to start by asking, so financial inclusion seems to be a main focus for WaFd. So what does financial inclusion mean to you, and how does financial inclusion fit into the work that WaFd does throughout the community?
Nice. Thank you. Good question. So financial inclusion for me, I guess you can say it kind of it just means to at least be banked, to not be unbanked, to not have a bank account because I've been there. I know how much that can hinder a lot of goals, a lot of potential, and a lot of progress. I guess you can say, and especially with WaFd, I love how that kind of just that comes together with everything, because them being a more local bank, a community bank. We're not like the big boys. You're not going to see a lot of the commercials like you see with, Wells Fargo, U.S. Bank, things like that. We're a lot more local. It's a lot more about the relationships, about the impact. What can we do? And that's kind of the most important. We know that when you are banked or when you can be part of the banking community, it makes it a lot easier to reach whatever goal you have, whether it's financial, personal, or anything else. It is one of those where it gives you that sense of independence, the financial independence. You're not leaning on something. You're not always having to. I was stuck in this cycle, always having to go to like a money tree, having to pay that 15% payday loan or the check exchange fee, and then at times it still wasn't enough for the bills because that extra 10%, 15% that took just that $50 that you needed to make sure you had enough for the rent. So it's the inclusion, it's keeping the funds secure, it's that peace of mind that we have, and that's kind of what it is for me. I've had a lot of craziness, I guess you can say, in my life, and it's one of those where inclusion is everything. When you're part of everything, when you're part of the community, that's life.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and so I was looking on your website, and I think it's awesome that WaFd provides, free checking accounts, that makes it accessible to those who are underbanked or not banked at all. But are there any other ways that WaFd is working to kind of reach those underserved or underbanked communities here in Washington or elsewhere?
Yeah, there's a few different ways, I guess you can say, and I'll kind of blend in kind of a little bit of both. So, um, the outreach is kind of the most important because that's the toughest when it comes to, let's say, the unbanked, the low to moderate income community out there. Um, Groups in the community, myself, the Latino, Hispanic community, BIPOC, anything like that. Um, it gets tough. They feel neglected sometimes. They don't seek out banks anymore. There's that distrust into it, and so when it comes to, let's say, at least the outreach, reaching out and just spreading the word and being there, a lot of the help is with you guys. It's with organizations such as yourself, nonprofits, and things of that nature, and teamwork. Because without you guys being on the front lines, without you guys letting us know that there's a need, that there's a demand, and connecting us with those folks, sometimes it is hard for us to reach them. I will say that even with the social media that we do, the events that we try to go to, resource events, business networking events, whatever it is. Honestly, it gets tough sometimes. So we really lean upon organizations and connections to really get us connected with those folks that really need it. And then I'll touch base just because we were talking about the free checking account. We do try to help out as much as we can because we understand, and even I myself, sometimes life is tough, and you know maybe a bank account got closed down because of fees, and things that were out of your control. I had that happen, and I know that when I went into a certain big bank to apply, uh, the representative behind the counter laughed. She started laughing, and I was like, "Well, what's so funny?" And she was like, "Well, I don't know. I've never seen this error before, but you can't open a bank account." Slides me my ID and then just says, "Have a good day." And I went down the street to a local credit union and just kind of gave them the rundown and said, "Hey, look, this is what I'm trying to do." And they had what they call a second chance account. So it was one of those where, yes, maybe my one of my accounts got closed down, but I paid off those fees. I did everything that I needed to do to take care of my debt. They were actually nice enough to give me a second chance, open up a bank account for me, and I was able to get out of that payday cycle, out of paying the 15% to cash my check, 35% to actually get a payday loan because I had to do that a lot for a lot of years. And it was tough to get out of it, but they were one of the ones that honestly helped me out. And if it wasn't for them, I still remember them to this day. It was about 10, 11 years ago. Without them, that was the first step that got me out of poverty, out of 300 credit score, got me good. So yeah, man, it's things like that. We have one called Fresh Start from WaFd. So second chance, but we call it Fresh Start. Same thing, same concept. If you had a little trouble past, no worries. Come talk to us. We can kind of make that happen for you. If you're looking to build your credit, because either you're fresh or hey, maybe some life came at you fast and it kind of went down like mine did. We have a secured credit card that can help you out on that aspect, get you on that path back up to that 800 club or whatever your main goal is. So it's little things like that that we're coming up with. We have a lot more things for business coming out. But those are the little things I guess you can say for, let's say, the consumer, you and I kind of thing.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, thank you for that. And kind of along those same lines, if you have folks that have accounts with you and maybe there's some circumstance they lose their job, something like that, does WaFd have any hardship programs or anything to kind of help those people get on their feet, things like that?
Um, Not necessarily, let's say, in the aspect where let's say like it's a program per se. It's kind of difficult, or I guess you can say it's different, just because we did have a lot more options when we were in the residential home loan world, and that was kind of my expertise. But a lot of times, especially when COVID hit, it was one of those where we worked with a lot of folks. A lot of folks, they were struggling because of either the job, the income, whatever it was. Things went down big time. I think we were either number one or one of the top banks in Washington when it came to defaults. We were pretty much down to 0%. We work with a lot of our business owners, we work with a lot of our clients when it comes to their situations. Um, it's a lot about communication, and that's kind of it's kind of one thing that I tell all my clients, whether it's a consumer or a business client, a loan client. A lot of it comes down to communication that you have with your banker, with your bank. The more that you can tell me about your situation, your life, let's say that said hardship, I would do everything I can in my power to, hey, I'll take care of this fee. Don't worry about it. Work with me. Let me know what's going on with your family. Or, hey, I don't have anything for you, but I do actually work with this organization. They have a lot of resources to take care of this for you, and we will refer them out to like folks like you guys to take care of that if there's a need that I can't take care of with their accounts. But it's communication. As long as we know what's going on with them, we will 100% work with them. Wouldn't say a set program set in stone, but it's one of those, the better relationship you have with us, we will bend over backwards to make sure you and your family are in the best possible position going forward.
Great. Yeah, and just to kind of echo that same sentiment, that's what I tell my financial coaching clients. I mean, it can be so scary to go to your bank and say, "Hey, I don't know if I can pay for this loan next month." But again, like you said, having those trusted relationships and with your banker, and just having those conversations is the most important thing you can do. So thank you for that. And I kind of wanted to shift gears and talk about financial literacy, just in general. I know that WaFd is focused on improving financial literacy. Daniel and I met through the Financial Empowerment Network. And I saw that WaFd offers financial coaching services. And I just wanted to ask a little bit more about that. How do you get connected? Is there a cost? Do you have to be associated with WaFd? Those sorts of things.
Yeah, no, thank you for asking. Not at all, actually. That's kind of like a growing kind of program that not so many people are aware of. You don't necessarily have to be a client with us, organization, business client, or just consumer. Honestly, if there's any kind of question or need, just financial wise, you're just like, hey, I need a little bit of guidance. I just need a little bit of guidance here. This is my situation. 100%. All you have to do is feel free to come on down to any branch. You can go online. You can actually set an appointment with your closest branch. We do also have on our wafdbank.com website community spaces webpage where even let's say you guys just need to have a meeting space. I need to have somewhere safe to maybe just get a little bit of work done, or the organization, let's say organizations want to have a class, host a class, and maybe just don't have the classroom size for it. We do have community meeting spaces where you can come on down to our local branches, let us know in advance, and if we have the availability for it, please, we'll go ahead and just let you guys use the room for however long you guys wish. If it is, let's say, financial coaching needed, we can sit down one by one with, usually it'll be the branch manager. Sometimes it'll be our personal bankers, but we will have that one-on-one kind of consultation with the client or the community member and just see what we can do to help them out. Because a lot of the growth that I guess you can say with WaFd in the past year when it comes to the financial coaching aspect is we're not the what is it, set all be all. So if we don't know all the answers, and let's say maybe something that we can't help out with, we are trying to just have a list of organizations that we can refer folks out to. Something maybe for housing, something maybe for hey, you actually need some credit counseling or something like that. I'm not certified in that, but I know somebody who can take care of that for you. So it's the little things where if we can't do it after that consultation, we'll go ahead and refer out to our closest buddies, our closest connections with the organizations and be there. But no cost at
Great.
all. Just let us know in advance.
Okay. Awesome. And I know you said that you'll often refer clients to resources in the community and things like that. Does WaFd, do they host their own financial education classes, or is that kind of referred to external partners? I guess I'm asking, do you do any in-house financial education, workshops, resources, things like that?
It's based basically on location and divisions. I guess you can say each branch manager in each division, they kind of have free reign to do whatever they wish. If a lot of them are like, hey, we want to host it in house, this is what we want to do, they can. If they want to work more closer with the organizations and just say, hey, we'll work in partnership with you if you want to host it in house at our branch, or if you want to host it at your location, it is like that. Um, I will say that it's great that you brought that up because that is something that is in the talks of us expanding that, where we will be hosting it a lot more in branch. Then it would just be working with our closest partners and just saying, hey, can you help us spread the word? Just because we understand that, there's limitations. We don't know everybody in the community. We can't get connected with every single group. But that is something that is in the talks of expanding that a lot more. And you'll probably start seeing it more in 2026, where we'll be hosting our own shops in our own branches with our own food and drinks. And that way you guys are all invited for a good time. But I'll keep you guys posted on that because it is something that's just starting out. We were just kind of preliminary talking about that last week. So good stuff.
Great. And then, yeah, I also see there's a lot of focus towards youth financial literacy. And I saw there is, I believe it was called the Green Light program, a like children's checking account sort of
Yeah.
program. Can you tell me some more about that?
Ish. Yeah, yeah. So the green light. Okay, it is amazing. Okay. So we got in partnership. I believe that's the company's name, Green Light. And it's pretty cool. Okay. I just did it a few days ago for my little one. She's 4.5. But she's a little wild. Okay. And and I get it. She's the baby of the family, and so her grandparents have got her in the habit of any single time we go out, we're gonna buy you something. And so now when we go out, she wants me to buy her something, and she kind of doesn't, grasp the idea of money. So with Greenlight, what it is as long as you have a free checking account with us, I guess you can say, or bare minimum free checking account and anything from there, um, you automatically qualify for a Greenlight account. What this is they'll send you out a debit card that is attached to that free checking account, so your free checking account, and it is intended for that child. It is intended for your kid, and once they receive it, it's actually pretty cool because you can customize the card. You can make it a goofy little picture, whatever. I have it where I got my daughter like this, kind of like looking angry at herself. So then that way, if she's like spending money, she can be like, okay, okay, I'll spend it. But nonetheless, it's pretty cool. And so it's awesome because it teaches them financial responsibility. My version of the app, when I go into the Greenlight app, it'll just say, hey, do you want to add funds to your kid's card? Have fun. This is their limit. Knock yourself out. When they go into it, though, it is all about fun and games. So there's a bunch of games that they can learn about budgeting, about credit, about savings, all about money, this and that. But then the way that they earn their money is all up to you. So if they have an allowance, okay, every week you're going to get $1, $2, $3, whatever it may be. But the way I have it set it up, because I don't do allowance in my house, you're going to do chores. And so every single time that she does a chore, she can get paid and she can check it off and say, hey, I did my homework. Can I get my $1? Can you pay me my $1? And I'll review her homework. All right. I'll say, okay. And it'll transfer $1 into her debit card. And it's pretty awesome because in that way they learn responsibility. They can keep track of their funds. And if she wants a little toy or candy, like, well, that seems like it's about five more chores before you get five more dollars. So looks like maybe next week is the time that we're going to get that. But that's kind of what it is in a gist, I guess you can say. It is really cool. I love the aspect that for a kid they get to start building their wealth, but there's little games that really teaching them about budgeting. It's really teaching them about finances and how to be smart with it. Because I was silly with my money as a kid. So, but yeah, that's kind of what it is. No cost at all. You automatically get a free account. Once you get a free checking account, you automatically have that ability to do it. You can get it for your kid. If you're an awesome aunt or uncle, get it for your niece and nephew. Get it for a little cousin. Just a great way to kind of keep track of their funds. And, if you want to help them out and give them a birthday present early, you can go ahead and do that. So, yeah,
Awesome.
good question though. Yeah, yeah. We love helping out kids. We love getting them started early because we know that, foundation is everything. And there's a lot of times, especially in the low to moderate income community. I know when I was growing up, we didn't get that kind of education. We didn't get those kind of tools and resources. So if you can start them early, if you can get that really at a young age, at a 4-year old, hopefully by the time that she's my age, she's made a lot better decisions than I had. And then please, Kendra.
Yeah, this is really cool. So thank you for sharing more information about that. Um, one question that I have about those accounts. Well, I actually have a lot of questions about those accounts, but I won't overwhelm. The first is I work with young people who will sometimes be coming into like a short-term job opportunity, and are interested in like that's maybe we've just set up a bank account for the first time so they can kind of start being paid in this way. And it would be really great, obviously, to have an account that has built-in almost like information about how to save, what percentage to save, that kind of thing. And I was wondering, do you have kind of maybe 101 information or like flyers or guides of, hey, here's how much you might want to be invested, and here's like a good, because I can't, I'm not supposed to be like, hey, this is a great total market index fund for you to just put your
Yeah.
money into and like set it and forget it. Because I'm pretty sure that's like majorly illegal, perhaps. Um,
You can be
like
like, this
I've
is what I do, hint, hint, and then push it
right
their
of
way.
like wanting
Yeah,
to be very cautious about the kind of like advice that we are giving, and kind of drawing that really clear line. But I was wondering if you have kind of any information that you do share, or if there's anything that we can maybe kind of set expectations that really helps with the young people that we work with, if they know what to expect when they walk into a space.
mm,
Are they going to be speaking to a human? Like those types of things. How long should they expect to spend there? Like all those things. So any kind of information about that would be helpful. And I'm also happy to connect offline as well, if that'd be helpful.
thank you. Yeah, and we'll probably connect afterwards as well too, because that's awesome. No, I love it. No, thank you for the question, Kendra. So let's say this. We don't have anything where it's like at the account opening process where it's like built in. Here's the folder, and it has all that information. But for every single client, and I will say this too. I know there was questions about support for nonprofits. This is something that we do offer for nonprofits as well too. So let's say for all of our clients and for nonprofit organizations, just let us know. We can hook you up. We do offer free financial literacy material online from Bonsai. And so with all of our clients, let's say especially the youth, they can directly go to the WaFd Bank account, and then they can look up, let's say, budgeting rules. Because I'm kind of with you. My son right now, he just got his first job, and the number one thing that we've been working on is budgeting. 50, 30, 20 rule. What goes to your needs, what goes to your wants, and what goes to your savings, if possible. And so he's been literally doing the math once he gets paid, and he's like, all right, so dad, 50% of my paycheck is this, 20% is this. So this means I can have fun with this much money, right? You could do whatever you want with that money. Yes, that's your 30%. And so while it is just a thumb rule guideline, things like that, they do have access to it. Let's say if they open an account with us online where they can go to it and say, hey, all right, that's a thumb rule for budgeting. All right, so it says I'm supposed to be saving 20%, but it's unique to every lifestyle. Maybe I'll say 50% and then 50% to my needs just because, they're that kind of responsible child that I wasn't. But yes, they do have that. And then for nonprofit organizations, just let us know. You can email me or anyone on my team. And then what we can do is put you in contact with our marketing team. That way we can put your logo with that financial literacy material. So it's branded as yours anyway. So but yeah, no cost to that. But yes, we can do that for them, and they are more than willing to ask any questions with any of our bankers whenever they wish. We would love to answer that for them.
Kendra, I added a bunch of links in the chat that will take you
Yeah,
directly to those materials. And as Daniel said, please, if you want to use Bonsai or Brainstorm or anything else, just reach out and we're happy to do that with you.
that sounds great. I was reading through those. Thank you very much. And I'll just say, I know you mentioned like potentially having kind of one-on-ones at the bank. And I also know that we kind of work with groups of youth, and I could see us in the spirit of working smarter, not harder, of having kind of almost like a class style. I don't know if that you'd be open to that, but that would be something I think at least my program would be really interested in, like bringing folks by and introducing them. Here's what it means to walk into a credit union, into a bank, and like what's going on, and like all that kind of stuff.
Love it. We will 100%. We will connect after this, and I'll get you in contact. Well, with all these people up here that are from WaFd, and we'll get that going. 100%.
Awesome. Thank you. And then I was going to save these questions till later, but we might as well do it now. I'm seeing a lot of questions in the chat about the work WaFd does to support local nonprofits. And I'm assuming most of us on this call are part of local nonprofits and we're really intrigued by that. So I guess I wanted to ask, I know that WaFd does some impact grants that you can apply for. But what are some of the key areas in the community that WaFd kind of focuses on for community giving? Is it financial literacy, housing? Are there kind of specific things that WaFd looks for when they're considering who to give those impact grants to?
Oh yeah, for sure. In this one, thank you. I will say for whoever asked that in the chat, this is my favorite topic. I'm not gonna lie. This all the community foundation portion, things like that, financial literacy, all of it. I love it, love it. So, let's say this: we do have two. We have two grants, okay, for nonprofit organizations. One of them is a community micro grant, and so this one here would be more for if the organizations focus on, hey, we need help on financial literacy. We need help on maybe providing a little bit of basic needs, social services, things like that. We have that smaller grant. It's only about $1,000 to $5,000. Okay. Now there is a bigger grant, which is our community impact grant. Now that one goes from anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000, and it's mainly focused, let's say, on economic development. If your organization is working on or has something with economic development, you're trying to build the economy around there, help the youth in that area, something like that. They're like, hey, we're working, we're doing this. All right. Uh, Workforce development, job development, anything with, let's say, community revitalization, because we understand that, hey, there's some areas that our area is beautiful. It has a historic downtown, but just hasn't had too much love or support in the past. Let us know. Let us know. And then, of course, permanent and affordable housing. That's a huge one, as we all know here in Washington, especially. But those would be the big focus. I guess you can say economic development and workforce development for sure, and then affordable housing, right then and there for you for that community impact grant from 5,000 to 20,000.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. It's excuse me. It's one of those that I think about when asked how do we support nonprofits. I always kind of put it in three different realms. So when it comes to the grant, I always consider that a treasury portion, because I understand how it is when nonprofit organizations, money is everything. Funding is everything to be able to help the community and support it. So that's a little bit of the treasury. Another way that we support nonprofits, and this is honestly probably the first two, I guess you say, are kind of my favorites. It's time, and then talent or expertise. We love volunteering. We love presenting financial literacy. We love having one-on-ones, coaching, workshops, whatever you guys need, let us know. Any nonprofit, any organization out there, anybody in the community needs some kind of assistance, let us know. If we can make that happen, we would love to spend our time out there, because we know that's usually the hardest. It's getting a full body out there to really kind of help out. And then our talent and expertise. When it comes to banking, when it comes to loans, when it comes to business stuff, um, your head can hurt. I know my head spins 9 times out of 10 by the end of the day. I'm not great with numbers, and it's crazy because I work at a bank. But it is one of those where if you guys ever need any kind of guidance, please let us know. We can help out with anything. Even if I can't do it, somebody on my team knows for sure how to help out with some commercial stuff or whatever it may be. So, time, talent, and treasury, those would be the top ways that WaFd or how we really try to help out. So as long as we know what you want or need, let us know and we'll be out there for you guys.
Great. And not to put you on the spot, but do you have any success stories or any projects in the past few months or years that kind of stand out to you as a success story as a result of a WaFd grant?
Yeah, there's a few. Okay, so I'll start off with saying that me myself in this role, the community development officer role, I've been blessed that it's kind of evolved into this role over a year. Beforehand, I was more concentrated in branch or on home loans, so a little different aspect. But let's say this: I'll name a few just because we've always had a really great relationship with Habitat of Humanity of King County. So they've always done great work with all the impact grants that we've given them. Another one, which you kind of alluded to it, is how we met the Financial Empowerment Network. We're really great partners with them. Try to support them as much as we can because, to be honest with you, if it wasn't for the Financial Empowerment Network, I wouldn't know half of the people in this room. They were able to get me connected with organizations and folks in power that can actually get me in front of the people who needed it the most. So that's one of the most successes. But I'll talk about a few smaller ones. So these here are new organizations, I guess you say, are kind of smaller on the aspect that you're not going to see their names. Oops, their names like on commercials or anything like that. But um, CJK Community Homes is an organization that I've been working with for over the past year here in Tacoma that helps with getting folks who are unhoused into permanent and stable housing. And it is one of those where it first started off with, hey, let me just kind of get to know you. Let's chat. Let me send you some of the grants information. But we've had the pleasure of presenting probably about like 15 to 20 classes already about financial literacy, credit, debit, banking, whatever it may be. It's all a mix of everything. But the awesomeness to it is with a lot of these folks, they're unhoused. Some of them are living in their car. By the end of the classes, they're banked. They were unbanked folks. There were folks that were, worried or just untrustworthy of the banking system. But they were like, because of you, we're gonna get a bank account. We You built that trust. If it wasn't for you actually coming out and speaking to us, we would have never done this for sure, 100%, because we're not gonna go in there. You guys don't like us. You don't. And I've heard this before, and it breaks the heart because they're like, you don't. They're like, you don't want us in there. You don't want us black people in there. And I'm like, come on, man, stop it, man. Don't say that, man. I'm like, we want everybody in there. And so I get it though, because of the history that banks have in this country and in other countries as well. Even with my Latino and Hispanic community, my mom doesn't trust banks. She's from El Salvador. My dad still doesn't trust banks. He's from Mexico. So I get it. Sometimes it's a cultural thing, but it's a lot of, hey, let me go out there, let me talk to you, let me build this trust because honestly, this is everything. And that for me, those are the success stories. It's knowing that we've had a handful of folks who were unbanked, now they're banked. A handful of folks who had a lot of distrust, hey, now they've gotten a good, long-standing job. They finally got their own stable place, their own apartment. They're doing successful things. Like those are the success stories. And so I would say, like, CJK, and there's a lot of other organizations that are doing some amazing stuff, but just like that. And I don't want to keep on talking because I see Magera with her hand up. So please jump on in.
I just wanted to share that one of the great things about WaFd is that you can volunteer on work hours. This is technically Daniel's job description, but not the rest of the people that are WaFd on this call. But like I had a financial literacy class, quote unquote, that went on for over 3 years. And they would come up with like, so, and this was a Hispanic group. So I always had to have a translator because I can mostly understand, but I couldn't speak it back. So where can we refinance our car? How do we save for college? And then I took them on field trips to Bellevue College for the English as a second language. And then I took a group of kids to Nintendo so they could have something to shoot for and hear from them what kind of classes they needed to keep taking it and be interested in. So what I want to say is it is as big as you can think, and there aren't any limits. It's just brainstorming. And the other thing is it's not us imparting all of knowledge, quote unquote. It is, I know Daniel does, and I do as well. You learn so much from the people in the groups, and you may have someone that is down on their luck, maybe living in an assisted home who's had no credit, yada, yada. But you know what? They can know how to tell you how to handle debt collectors. And so they could share that with the group. So it's empowering everybody in the group. So nobody feels like it's teacher student or being talked down to. It's all, we're all learning together. And I think that's one of the things we really strive for.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that a lot. And I will say that's kind of our goal in doing these Q&A sessions is to bridge that gap between financial institutions and nonprofits in the community. Because, I worked in financial institutions before this, and it's a confusing world and it's intimidating. And I just love doing this work and connecting people with people like Daniel, who are hoping to bridge that gap and make it more accessible. So this is all great to hear. And then let's see. I did kind of want to shift gears and ask some small business questions, but Kendra, you can go ahead.
Yeah, just before we shift gears, one quick question, because Megara, thank you so much for the resources for these grants and things like that. Just a question, if we are restricted to applying to one or the other,
Mm,
or if our organization does both, are we able to apply for both?
good question. It is only one or the other.
Okay,
So
good
yep,
to know.
I would say go big or go home. I always well, so let's say this. I always tell my organizations apply. Especially if that's kind of the question. Like, well, we kind of go for both. Go for the bigger one, and then I say max it out. Always go for 20,000, even though that's always going to be the toughest the first year around. I won't lie, but do it. And let's say this first year around, usually they'll start off with a smaller grant that you guys will receive, but as your guys' relationship grows with WaFd, let's say we present classes, there's events that we host a table at, whatever it is. But as our relationship grows, the grant amounts will continue to grow as well too, and any support that you guys need. So it's always, I guess you can say, it's the beginning of a long relationship, or we're hoping that it is. So please apply.
Awesome. So yeah, shifting gears towards small businesses. Obviously, you offer small business accounts and things like that. So what would you say are kind of some of the biggest challenges you see for small businesses today, and what do you think makes WaFd stand out among the rest?
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, let's say this. So with small businesses, I feel, and I could be wrong, and I mainly speak, I guess you say, from my experience in life. My mother is a business owner. My whole entire life, she has been. From the age of 18, she got her business license and still has the same business till this day. And so, for me, I've kind of seen the struggle. I've seen the ebbs and flows. I've seen it from that side, the tears, the worries, and so a lot of it, especially in the beginning, it's being able to access capital. For a lot of startups, a lot of folks that are like, "Hey, man, I have my business license today. I want to go apply for a loan." 9 times out of 10, that's not the case. A lot of places require, "Hey, you have to be around for at least 2 years, 3 years, and then some, and you got to show me that you're making some money." And it's like, how am I going to show you I'm making money if I just got my license 10 seconds ago? So it's a lot of that. It's the requirements needed for accessing capital. It's the let's say sometimes, actually, I'll stick with that there because that's kind of always my favorite. With a lot of folks, uh, the access to capital is one thing. Another thing is the credit. And I bring this up because I get this a lot. I don't know if you guys do. My uncle, I bring it. I laugh because it's my uncle. I love my uncle so much, but he always brings me the most unique situations. And so he's like, "I'm going to start a business," and I'm like, "Awesome, great, let's do it." And he's like, "The reason I want to start a business is because I need to take out a lot of loans, and I want to do it under the business name and not my personal credit because my personal credit is kind of a little on the rough side." And so I was like, "Okay, let me pull back a little bit." I was like, and so we had to have that discussion of clarity of like, what does a bank look for in a loan? Does personal credit actually matter? And it technically does, depending on the situation, especially if you're in a startup situation. It really does. So a lot of it is not knowing what they don't know. It's access to capital. I would say that's kind of one of the number one thing for them. And so a lot of it is being able to talk to them, is being able to relate with them, and that's kind of where we come in. Let's say this kind of you were mentioning with the free business checking account. We never used to have that. I think 3 years ago, we actually did used to have a monthly fee of, I believe, $5 or $10 for it. And you had to have a minimum balance of at least $100 or 1,000 into it, or you get hit with a fee. We removed that. There is no more minimum balance requirement, no more monthly fee. And it was mainly because of us going out to the community and listening to the small business owners. And they were like, how do we, if we don't have any money, if we're barely trying to find one client, how are we going to pay your fee? How are we going to keep a minimum of $100 in there where I need to take out that 100 to pay the gas in my truck to get to the job to get the, and so we were like, you're right. Let's stop dinging you for every, nickel and diming you for every little thing. We'll remove that, help folks out. I am working on some things where I'm trying to get it certified as the what's the word we're looking for? It's like as the small business checking account, basically the best one out there in the nation because of no fees and anything. So stay tuned. Give me about 6 more months. I think you guys will start seeing that trickle down via the network. But doing things like that, a lot of things. The documents, like I was saying, we came out with a product called the Express Loans, where honestly we just made it easier. If folks are struggling, emergency comes up and they need money and they're like, look, man, I don't have time to gather 10,000 documents. Okay, give me stated income. 680 credit score, stated income. Have you been around for at least a year? Yes, I have. Let's take care of you. Let's get you going. And that can be in the form of a line of credit or a term loan, excuse me. So whatever they need. But those are the things that we did because we understood that for a lot of folks, especially if they're new into business, they don't really get all the documents. They don't understand all the cash inflow, the projections, the balance sheets, and all this other stuff. So it's like, hey, let's make it easy for right now. Let's not stress out. We're not going for a full-on SBA loan that needs all those documents. Let's just speed it up for you. So we just said stated income. Rare occasions we'll ask for documentations on business income, but very rare. And then that way we can get it going, making it easier for them, getting them out the door, getting their business growing. And it's little things like that. I have one success story from business wise from all of this, but I'll save that for later because it is using all of the little things that we'll be talking about today.
Great. Yeah, and kind of along those same lines, at least the small business folks that I've talked to, they struggle with cash management, and paying their vendors and things like that. So I noticed that WaFd has a service called Treasury Express. Yeah, can you tell me more about that and how that helps small business people?
Yeah, I'll tag that in with a few different services, I guess, when we have our programs that we have. So, Treasury Express or Treasury Prime, depending on how big you go, that's I guess you can say it's our online banking system for businesses. So, their best way of keeping track of their accounts, if they need to do any ACH payments, if they need to do any wires, they could do it actually on the online system as well too. One thing that we added that I feel is kind of unique, just because not everybody has it, is Business Zelle. So we do have that for our businesses as well too, especially if they're, just like, hey man, I just do the what is it, the farmers markets at the on the weekends. I don't need anything too crazy. Awesome. Here's a QR code. They can go ahead and just deposit everything into your Business Zelle. Done deal, Holyfield, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Things like that. So I like that for our Treasury Express. Treasury Prime is just if you have more than one user. Let's say if there's an accountant that needs to have access or an office person, you can have multiple users so they can access that for you. One great thing that we do have though that kind of helps along the lines that you were talking about is FinSync. So FinSync is great for new business owners. It's one of our partnerships. Basically, a lot of business owners they're piecemealing everything. They're like, okay, I need to get QuickBooks for this. I need to get ADP for this. I need to get another service for my timekeeping. And so now they have 4 or 5 different logins for stuff, and it gets a little hard, convoluted, and they lose track of things. With FinSync, it actually takes care of all of that on one platform. So that way they can keep track of their timekeeping, their payroll, any projections, accounting, all of that on one. And so that way they can just be organized. And let's say if they need to send it out to their accountant, CPA, one click of a button, it'll print out a document, and they're like, "Here you go, CPA," and it's all theirs and done. That one is, let's say that one there is for the folks who are like, you know what, I want to do it myself. I'm going to take care of this. We do have a partnership as well with another one of our buddies. They just changed their name to Global Solutions. Um, and so they used to be Heartland, if anybody knows about Heartland or sees Heartland. But they used to go by that. But Global Payment Solutions, I think, is what they're called now. They help us out with any small business owner if they need merchant services, terminals, or things of that nature. If they need help creating a employee handbook, making sure that they're following all the policies and guidelines for that county, for that state, so they don't get fined, things of that nature. Another whatever. And they what they can do is they can actually send those documents to your CPA and accountant on your behalf. That way, all your business taxes get filed quarterly and on a timely manner. Nothing is late or anything of that nature. They do a little bit more. So we got a connection for anything. Honestly, whatever it is for a small business owner, we have partners, we have resources, and that's why I always say we're not the set all be all. We are one of those was like, hey, I'm just as good as my buddy. I'm as good as my resources and my connections. And that's why I love groups like this, because the more that we can expand and mesh together, the more all of our resources can be in deeper for the community.
Awesome.
Awesome.
And yeah, I just had one final question, and then I wanted to open it up to the group. And I won't make you speak on behalf of WaFd, but I know you have a lot of experience in financial institutions. I just wanted to ask generally, how do you see the financial institution industry, financial services industry changing over the next 5 to 10 years? Have you noticed any trends or things or directions that you could kind of see financial services headed?
So let's say this. I'll start off with the I am a baby in the financial world when it comes to banking and things of that nature. I've done a lot in my career. But no, yeah. So I'm going in about, let's say, 3, 4 years when it comes to banking. So I'll stick it with at least the things that I know and the things that we've already started seeing. And especially because we, yeah, okay, this year, as everybody knows, especially nonprofits, all the nonprofits that I've spoken to, the administration has kind of flipped things on its head, kind of stirred things up, and so at least for the next 3 years, I'll say the focus is going to be primarily on economic development, small business development, from what I can see. Especially when I've noticed that the government, when it comes to supporting funds or organizations, anything that has to do with DEI, they're like, hey, yeah, we don't do it. Let's remove the funding. Let's stop it. Let's stop the grants, which is sad. I dislike that because I've had even another organization that is fully business orientated. Their funding has stopped from the government just because they're saying that you're helping out too many BIPOC community small business owners, which is crazy. So anything, honestly, for the next 3 years, anything small business, anything economic development, that's primarily going to be the focus. When it comes to, let's say, financial institutions and nonprofits or the community, there's going to be a huge push. There's a huge push for folks, for banks, especially the bigger banks, to really get back out there and invest more time and basically make that time more impactful. So instead of just kind of doing maybe just, hey, I'm just checking out a box. All right, hey, I just got to send them a check or anything like that. Now, especially with the FDIC, they're like, we understand how the administration is, but we do want to see more impact, especially when it comes to the low to moderate income community. What can we do to support more? Stop checking the box. Start talking to those organizations that really need the support, that really need the help. Help them out. The ones that are really talking to the community with the ones in need, help them out. And that's kind of what I started seeing as a focus, especially in my role as more CRA orientated. A lot of it now, it's like, hey, stop with the check in the box. What are we doing to really make an impact? What are the organizations that you truly have a relationship with? And what are you doing to make a change in those communities? So that's my spiel. That's my spiel on the little bit that I know. But yeah, economic development for sure, for the most part, 100%. But then, yeah, man, just real impacts now. I think no more checking the boxes. I think people are tired of that. I think it's getting to the point where it's like, hey, change needs to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Well, awesome. Yeah, thank you. Thank you everyone again for being here. If anyone else has any questions or if there's any more information you'd like to share, please go ahead. But yes, thanks everyone again for being here and special shout out to Daniel.
Thank you. No, thank you again, Ethan, for letting me come by. And I before anybody jumps in with questions, I just want to say, please feel free to take down any of, well, not any, all of my compadres information from WaFd Bank. Anything that you guys need, please feel free to reach out to them 24/7. I am in Tacoma, and you can always reach out to me 100% for sure. But just in case it's something more local, something where it's like I need a face to face, they're right there for you and they're more than happy to help out. So please utilize us because we really want to help out. And without you guys, we can't make that impact. We can't make that change. It all starts with you. So thank you. Thank you for being here.